This is Behind the Headlines, with behind-the-scenes analysis on issues affecting Pennsylvanians, sponsored by the Susquehanna Valley Center for Public Policy. Now, here's your host.
Hi, from Philadelphia to Erie and from Pittsburgh to Scranton. It's Behind the Headlines. I'm Charlie Greenawalt, Senior Fellow of the Susquehanna Valley Center for Public Policy, and I'm joined as usual by my co-host, Maura Donley. Hi, Maura.
Hello, Charlie.
Why, do you feel any pressure today?
Yeah, every day.
Every day. Why, that is a fabulous new movie.
Oh.
Who ever thought that someone could make a historical drama about the weather forecast on D-Day and the disagreement between the English and the American weathermen and have you on your seat for 2 hours?
It was good?
Fabulous.
Well, I'm going to try to watch it then.
Really great movie. And maybe some of our fellow Americans could learn some history as we go along, too.
Always a good thing.
Yeah. Well, another good thing is that we have one of my heroes in the state legislature. And he has become one of my heroes, even though he's only a second-term state senator, because of what he has just accomplished. And we have with us Senator Devlin Robinson from Western Pennsylvania. Could you fill us in a little bit on your background, Senator Robinson?
That's right. I represent the 37th District in Allegheny County, which encompasses the western portion of the county. So if you've ever been to Pittsburgh International Airport, that's right there, smack dab in the middle.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. My whole family's out there, so.
Mm-hmm.
But you have done something that needed to be done in Pennsylvania for a while, that is being done all around the country, and might save many of our young people, or at least improve their situation. You have led the fight, and it has become a bipartisan fight
right.
to ban cell phones in Pennsylvania schools. That's hard on the heels of the fact that we've restored cursive to our curriculum as well. Another great accomplishment by the legislature. Mm-hmm. But could you tell us a little bit about how you put this bill together and how it's proceeding?
Yeah, I would talk to a lot of stakeholders in my district, a lot of constituents, parents, teachers, school administrators. They would tell me that the cell phone is a major problem in the classroom. They're constantly fighting for their students' attention, and if we continue to go down this path where the cell phone is controlling students' attention instead of the instructional period, I think that we're going to have a big problem whenever these students get into the workforce.
So you've put together some legislation. So tell us a little bit about how it works, because I understand that the local school districts will have a pretty big role in how this is going to all play out. So tell us about your legislation.
Well, we have to recognize Pennsylvania is a very big state, and so there's a lot of counties, there's a lot of representatives, a lot of senators, and there's a lot of school districts, a lot of communities. So you have to recognize that we can't police everyone. So we have the school districts there, and they're the authority. And we want to make sure that the school districts have the buy-in and they make the rules, because they're the ones that are going to be implementing the rules. So we want to make sure that they have the control of a bell-to-bell ban on cell phones.
So the legislation says that they are banned,
Mm-hmm.
but it's going to be up to the local school districts to decide how that works.
And that's correct.
So some might say, leave them at home. Some could say, you leave them in your locker. I mean, there's a lot of ways to do this, correct?
And we also had those Faraday bags where, they block the signal and then you can lock it.
Oh, yeah, that would be good too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they probably don't want to get into collecting all the phones though, do they?
Right, exactly. So
Yeah.
Well, the material that is posted about this on the website for the individual senators and state legislators, one of your Democratic colleagues is saying that this all began as a result of Senator Ryan Almond from Lancaster County, who had a copy of Jonathan Haidt's book called The Anxious Generation, which lays out all the research that shows that cell phones are the devil for our children, and they are to be avoided at all costs. And your colleague didn't pick up the book for 2 or 3 months, and once he picked it up, he couldn't put it down. Could you tell us a little bit about him and about the effect that the anxious generation had on your colleagues and on you?
Yeah, Ryan Allman was a very good friend of mine since I came into Harrisburg. He's a fellow veteran, a fellow Iraq war vet, and he gave me this book to read. I must say, it's not usually a book that of a subject that I would normally read, but it was eye-opening. You know, everybody always talks about, you know, the younger generation, that they have anxiety issues and a lot of psychological issues. You know, we would hear about suicidal ideation and things like that. And, you know, Jonathan Haidt said that there's a direct correlation of, you know, these psychological problems in the younger generation with the prevalence of cell phone usage. And, you know, the year that the front-facing camera started becoming popular in these cell phones, you know, is where body dysmorphia and things started, you know, becoming more prevalent in our younger students. So, you know, the cell phone is a great tool, and everything that goes into it, the smartphone, you know, I mean, when I sat down here, I thought, did I lock my car? Well, I can do that on my cell phone, you know? So it is a good tool. However, we have to make sure that we know how it's changing our society for the good and the bad.
I would imagine cell phones play a big role in bullying as well, and that might really help that situation in a lot of the schools. I mean, it's probably the equivalent of the old pass a note to your friend. You can, you know, text them right next to you. So, who knows what's being said and done and what harm.
That too, and I really think that, you know, this generation understands that it's permanent. So whatever's being said online, you know, you really can't go and delete it. Where, you know, when we grew up, you know, bullying it was over the next day.
Yeah.
And there wasn't able to go back and continually remind that person.
So your legislation has passed the Senate, but the House has also passed a similar, but not exactly the same.
They're identical. So,
they are
yeah,
identical.
So the Senate bill passed the Senate,
Great.
the House bill passed the House, and so now there's going to be the
Something.
trade, the negotiations, the
Yeah.
talk
And
going
the
on for
governor's
June.
already said that he'll sign it, didn't
Right.
That's correct.
he? Okay.
Well, I have a question for you. Apple Watches. I can do everything on my Apple Watch that I can do on my cell phone. So if you take my cell phone from me, I'm cool with that. So what about Apple Watches?
Now, you know, we understand that there's always a way around all these rules, but we included the Apple Watches within the ban as well.
Okay. Now, could they be put on Do Not Disturb, or they just like you
They're
just can't?
banned.
They're banned. Okay, interesting.
Because then, you know, the teachers are going to check all the students, you know, to make
That
sure
would be
that they're
crazy.
not getting,
Yeah.
you know, that they're not
Dinged.
on Do Not Disturb,
Yeah.
right?
And this is a bell-to-bell ban.
It's a bell-to-bell ban. When you walk in that school and that bell rings, you don't see your cell phone until the end of school day. And that bell rings to let you out of class, let you out of school.
We just go and look at some of the things that this technology has promoted among our young people. I mean, there are certain people in our society who have married their what is it?
Married?
Actually married their chat bot.
Oh, their chatbot.
Yeah, they've married their chatbot. You've seen that. There
Yeah,
are other
oh,
people.
yeah.
There are other young people who have been talked into committing suicide, and they committed suicide from their chatbot. Their chatbot urged them on to commit suicide. This is the people that are responsible for programming that. They should be held accountable, I would think. I would hope.
Absolutely. The fact that, you know, they're able to program, you know, the steps to take to commit suicide, but don't put a step in to, you know, seek psychological help or to, you know, call the suicide hotline or something along those lines, I think that's a big problem.
So I have to ask, how do the students feel about this?
It's really funny. I do, a lot of my friends with children in high school especially are, they're not happy, and I'm not a very popular person in their household. But we have student government seminars, and we let them practice on this legislation. And whenever you put it in front of the students and they start discussing it, they admit that we're here to learn in school, and that cell phones are a distraction.
Parents overwhelmingly support it. There have been polls on it and everything, so that's good. I just had a feeling the kids might be
They're hesitant.
100% behind it.
You'll thank me later.
Yeah.
Well, for 35 years, actually it was all told 37 years, I taught in higher education, and my major impediment to teaching was the cell phone. And so the very first day in class, I had an older cell phone myself, and the very first thing I talk about is the fact I do not want to see one of these for 50 minutes. Can you live for 50 minutes without this? And then I would take it and I would throw it down onto the concrete or linoleum floor, and everyone would gasp. But I was making the point that they are irrelevant to what's going on in this class, and we need to cover the material, because when you're covering the material as a teacher, what are the students doing? They're trying to text, and they're looking to see what's going on Facebook. They're missing the lecture or the discussion in the room altogether, aren't they?
It's TikTok now.
Whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. They are missing.
They are. We have to make sure that schools are getting back to, education. Education comes first. Reading, writing, and arithmetic, and socialization comes next.
So if one of your school boards in your district came to you and said, well, now what? What do we do now that this ban is in place? Do you have any advice for them?
The state, we passed a grant to buy those Faraday bags a couple years ago. So, there's steps that they'll be able to take.
That's great.
Well, those bags are used in my county building, and everybody that comes into the county building has to put their cell phone in one of those bags until they leave, and they work very well, very well. So, last question, last 30 seconds. What about the associations for superintendents and school principals and school counselors and so forth? Are they on board with you?
So far, they're supportive.
Okay, well, we wish you well, and you guys have achieved something that we've been waiting for years, a bipartisan effort to pass great legislation that will really help thousands of thousands of young men and women. Congratulations, Senator.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We'll be right back with the next segment of Behind the Headlines. Stay tuned.
Behind the Headlines is brought to you as a public service by the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors, the largest, most influential municipal association in the Commonwealth. Since 1921, PSATS has been preserving and strengthening township government and securing greater visibility and involvement for townships in the state and federal political arenas. Covering 95% of Pennsylvania's land mass, townships represent 5.5 million residents, more than any other type of political subdivision in Pennsylvania. Additional underwriting provided by the Edward H. and Jeannie Arnold Foundation, and by the Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association. Business in Pennsylvania is our business. Behind the Headlines is also supported as a public service by the Pennsylvania Highway Information Association, the go-to source to learn about transportation projects and issues. Visit pahighwayinfo.org.
Hi, welcome back to Behind the Headlines. On this segment, Maura and I are fortunate enough to have the State Treasurer with us, State Treasurer Stacy Garrity. Treasurer, you've been with us twice before.
I have, and it's great to be with you again.
Well, we've always said we need to have you back because there's so much more to talk about. And now that we have you back, and it's been a while, just wondering if you could refresh our viewers' memory a little bit about your background, where you're from, how your political career started.
Absolutely. So, of course, being the state treasurer is my first time in public office, but not my first time in public service. So I did spend 30 years in the Army Reserve, so 3 deployments, all to the Middle East. So now I'm going to age myself. So Operation Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom. My last deployment was 2008-2009, and I was acting battalion commander at Camp Bucca, which was southern Iraq. We ran the largest internment facility in theater, so 7,000 detainees, about 1,200 soldiers under my command, and we were the first internment facility to have 0 abuse allegations and 0 escape attempts. So then I hit my mandatory retirement date in 2016. Had I not hit my mandatory retirement date, I would have never even thought about running for office, because serving truly was and is the honor of my lifetime.
Well, so what intrigued you or interested you in the treasurer's office?
You know what? To be honest, it really wasn't on my bucket list. So I got recruited. I said no for 4 months because, I'm from Bradford County, so northern tier,
Right.
one of the most rural counties, in our great Commonwealth. And they hadn't had anybody in a row office from a rural county in over 40 years. And of course, I didn't have, nobody knew me. I was not involved in politics. And so I said, no, no, no. And then, you know what? They couldn't find anybody. Put it on my church prayer chain, and the doors opened up, and I stepped through.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about how, what you did after you, is it retired from the military, or, I don't want to
Well,
say
I hit my
forced
mandatory.
out?
Yeah, pretty much. So after 30 years, yes,
Yeah.
as a colonel, you can do 30 years.
Yeah.
So at the same time, I was working in the private sector, and I worked at the largest tungsten smelter in the Western world, about 500 employees. Worked my way up to become one of the first of 2 female vice presidents. So Global Tungsten and Powders in Towanda, Pennsylvania. So for 9 years, my one assignment, I was in a different country every month.
Oh.
And so I'm from a small area, but I've been to just about every country in Europe, and I've been to China, oh my gosh, Hong Kong, South Korea, Taiwan, Japan 20 times alone.
Oh, my goodness.
Is tungsten on that list of rare and critical minerals?
It is. It absolutely is. So it's wolfram. We call it tungsten, of course, but yes, heavy, dense metal, and it is one of the critical minerals.
So the company that you worked for is still up and running, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. They're
and,
still there.
Doing well?
They're doing very well.
Do they miss you?
I think they miss me. They still call me. Once in a while they'll call and ask questions, and I only live 20 minutes north of there, so yeah.
How is tungsten used?
Oh my gosh, it's used in about every industry. So my favorite was defense materials,
yeah.
right? So tungsten heavy alloy, and used in penetrators and GMLRS. So that's like that's a sniper round. It goes I think it's 30 kilometers, maybe 70 kilometers. But we manufactured the small spheres that went into that. So that was really interesting. But also, gosh, road construction, aerospace, electronics, you name it. It's used in everything.
So let's fast forward now to your
Yes.
current position as the state treasurer. Tell us a little bit about the department and what exactly are the responsibilities.
Sure. So first I want to say that although I told you that serving in the military was the honor of my lifetime, every day that I get to wake up and serve Pennsylvanians is truly a blessing. And so I am the fiscal watchdog for over $180 billion. I take that very seriously, because every dollar is a dollar that was earned by somebody. And most of the money is made up from the pension board, so the state employees retirement system, the teachers retirement system. Of the $180 billion, we invest directly about $55 billion. We also make every payment in the Commonwealth, So fun fact, that's over 3 payments a second. And yes, and I run all the consumer programs. So PA 529 College and Career Savings Plan, which is fantastic, over $10 billion saved for children. I run PA ABLE, which is our program for Pennsylvanians with disabilities, 5th largest program in the nation. So very proud of that. Assets have more than quadrupled since I've taken office. And then I run unclaimed property. So
my
we
favorite.
have 5, it might be my favorite too, Maura.
I've been waiting for an envelope, but nothing has arrived yet.
Okay, well, you never know.
I've been successful in the past, but
Right.
yeah.
So we have over $5 billion, billion with
Wow.
a B. And so given back since I've been in office, $1.2 billion.
Well, since the market, the international markets have done so well recently, does that mean that Pennsylvania's investments are doing well at the current time?
Well, they are doing well, and they've done consistently well since I've been there. But just in interest income, we've exceeded $1 billion for the last 3 years. So that's fantastic.
Yes.
How does that compare? Does it exceed everything that's happened before that, or?
Yes.
Oh, okay, because
Yeah.
it sounds impressive. I want to make sure it is. It
Yes.
sounds
yeah.
amazing, actually.
It is. They're doing quite well. Yeah, our 529, oh my gosh. So we had record contributions last year, so over $1 billion. We crossed $215 million threshold for PA ABLE. And then unclaimed property last year, we gave back $334 million. So that is the highest. So broke 3 records.
So
all mine.
So there, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was legislation passed that allow you to reach out and just send checks to people and not expect them to go to the website and find it. Is that correct?
Pennsylvania Money Match.
Okay,
Yes,
yeah.
love it. So we wrote the legislation, gave it to the state senate, and said, hey, can you run this? So it passed unanimously. Can you imagine that? Actually
No.
eliminating red tape from government. And so 2025 was the inaugural year, and my staff said, you know what, maybe we can do 20 million. And I said, how about 40 million? And they did over 50 million in the first year. So far since that program's been enacted, we've proactively given back about $74 million. So up to $500, you have to be, it has to be a simple, straightforward account, so single owner account. So people don't have to go and file a claim. We can proactively send them a check. So just in March, I think we sent over 115,000 checks, about $25 million.
And that requires some sort of analysis, right? They have, every single one has to be looked at and determine
yes.
whether single owner and, amount and everything. So that's a
Exactly.
lot of work.
Well, I have a great staff.
Yeah.
So we send them a letter, a good news letter saying, hey, you've unclaimed property, in 45 days you're going to get a check. It's a real program, it's real money, it's your money, cash the check, basically, and then in 45 days we send a check. So it's a great program. But we need to have it more than $500. There's 14 other states that do it. Most are like $2,500, $5,000. Some
Oh.
states are even $10,000. So I've been really pushing hard to increase that threshold.
And how do you think that's going to go through?
I don't know. But we'll keep pushing.
Yeah.
So instead of having Ed McMahon come to your house with a check, it's Treasurer
Yeah.
Garrity coming
Yeah,
to your
exactly.
house with a check.
Well,
That's-
it makes sense that you get a notification that there's
Yes.
going to be a check, because I think if I got one just blindly in the mail, I'd be like, this can't be real.
Is
Yeah,
this
it's
a
not
scam?
legit. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, and then that gives enough time to see if the letter's returned, it means the person moved, so then we're not going to send the check
Oh,
out.
brilliant.
Yes.
Very nice, yeah.
Well, we have a little bit of time left here today, and we are approaching our nation's 250th birthday. Do you have any message that you would like to send to Pennsylvanians and to Americans on our 250th birthday,
Well,
Treasurer?
just think about being in Pennsylvania. So 250 years ago this summer, our founding fathers did something that the world had never seen, stood up to the largest empire in the world and said, enough is enough. So our Commonwealth is the birthplace of freedom and liberty. And it's the place where America's enduring dream of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness began. And, think about it. We are the state that sparked a revolution. We are the state that powered the Industrial Revolution. We are the state that built the American working class. So Pennsylvania has always led, and we're going to lead again.
think it's going to be a lot of fun this summer.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be fantastic.
It really is.
What are your plans for the July 4th?
You know what? We haven't narrowed it down. There are so many different options. But we'll be somewhere.
I mean, we'll be seeing you then.
Oh yeah, you'll be seeing me.
Just
That'd be
think,
great.
if George Washington had you at the time of the Revolution, he could have signed you up and gave you an early assignment,
That's right.
and you would have had to go to the Middle East.
I would have taken the assignment.
Well, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Treasurer Garrity. We wish you all the best. And again, we have so many other things on substance that we would like to ask you about. Will you come back again and join us?
Love to come back again.
Oh, well,
Anytime.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We'll take you up on that. You hear that? You've heard it here first. The treasurer will be back, and we'll be back again next week with a new edition of Behind the Headlines. See you then.
Behind the Headlines is brought to you as a public service by the Pennsylvania State Association of Township Supervisors, the largest, most influential municipal association in the Commonwealth. Since 1921, PSATS has been preserving and strengthening township government and securing greater visibility and involvement for townships in the state and federal political arenas. Covering 95% of Pennsylvania's land mass, townships represent 5.5 million residents, more than any other type of political subdivision in Pennsylvania. Additional underwriting provided by the Edward H. and Jeannie Arnold Foundation and by the Pennsylvania Manufacturers Association. Business in Pennsylvania is our business. Behind the Headlines is also supported as a public service by the Pennsylvania Highway Information Association, the go-to source to learn about transportation projects and issues. Visit pahighwayinfo.org.